Alright guys, this is another private video. So I'm doing this as a follow-up to the other video, and a lot of people uh in my fan base honestly didn't even know who Moist Critical was when I first came up with that video. And I honestly, like, he was out of my mind for a long time. Even though he had popped up a few times, I wasn't interested in his content. And the more I dug into him, the more like disgusted I became with him. Now, here's the thing: is that one of the things that people say is that what he does is good is that he doesn't take any donations from like super chats, basically, like super chats and like regular subscriptions. It's something like that. So there's a big part of YouTube revenue that he actively discourages. Now, here's the thing: is he in his from what he has said and what his supporters have said is that he did this because he was already making enough money from his other like revenue streams. But the thing is that I know, because I have made money on YouTube, and I still do make money on YouTube. But the thing is that I know how it works, basically. So for him to just say like, "Oh, I don't, I don't want any revenue from this source because I already have enough through my other stuff," that's just straight up bullshit. And you could see here it says YouTube ad revenue, brand sponsorships, merchandise sales, ownership in esports organizations, and his music. Well, YouTube ad revenue is negligible to non-existent, even with millions of views. We're talking about like literally chump change, like pennies. His music is garbage. I've never heard of it. I mean, and I know that's probably like a stupid thing to say, like, "Oh, it's garbage. I never heard of it." But the thing is that I'm really into music, and I never knew that this guy is known for or was involved in making music. I never heard of any of his songs, so I'm assuming they're garbage. Merchandise sales, I mean, merchandise sales are very, very tricky on YouTube unless you have some kind of brand that's very distinguishable and recognizable. So you could pretty much cut that out. So that leaves brand sponsorships and ownership in esports organization. Now the thing is he this is the real reason he is denying revenue on his stream, and it's because he has a drug problem. Now, that should be obvious to anyone who looks at this guy that he does have a drug problem. He is not someone I would feel comfortable being next to at all. Now, the thing is that if you have a drug problem, or if you're like involved in something that's illegal, you're not going to have a credit card, because basically mommy and daddy take care of you and stuff like that. And that's the reason that he denies revenue from credit cards. That was basically what it came down to, was that it was like credit cards that were being refused on his channel. But that's not because he's making a lot of money. Because YouTube, listen, YouTube, I gotta be honest with you, YouTube's time as being a full-time job is over. It's all about streaming now. And even that doesn't pay the bills entirely, even with many thousands of views, and I would know this. But basically, he, in Moist Critical's case, he denies revenue from the source of credit cards because he doesn't have a credit card because he's a but he's just a fucking douchebag. He basically denies credit cards as being used as a way for being payment because he's a drug addict and he needs like physical money, like cash or something like that. And believe it or not, like, I mean, you should be able to look at this guy. I mean, like, I'm looking at him right now, and you could tell that he's like a mess. Like, he's not clean. He's got like really long hair, beard. Like, he didn't shave or anything else like that, you know. And I've heard in the past, like, he's had problems with his girlfriends and stuff like that. So, you know, it's not a surprise at all to see, you know, why this guy is just a drug addict, you know. And it should be obvious that he is a drug addict, like, from the first bit that you see of this guy on his videos. It should be obvious that he is a drug addict and he is on something. And that's why he denies the credit cards from being used on his channel, because they're you would basically, if you're involved with like drugs or anything like that, there's a tendency among people like that to not have credit cards because they need everything in cash. So, and you know, I gotta be honest with you, like, this guy, like, I didn't realize this, but he had a gaming channel too. And he spends all of his time doing this, and it's not even legitimate. And I gotta be honest with you, I think some of the previous videos I've done on Moist Critical, some private, some not, have actually had an effect on him, because recently I found out that he quit streaming on his main channel. And right before that, about a few months ago, about 6 or 7 months ago, I had called him out for being not a legitimate channel. But yeah, that's basically all I gotta say. The reason he doesn't accept currency on his YouTube channel as for credit cards, or at least when it comes to credit cards, it's not because he's a good guy and he's trying to like make it easy on people who are watching him. It's because he's a drug addict and he's a fucking scumbag, and that's the reason he doesn't accept that. It's because he's a drug addict and he needs regular cash. Like, basically, you know, if you're a drug addict, getting cash on a credit card would be pointless because you need physical money to get all the drugs. So, yeah, that's basically all I got to say. Yeah, he's a drug addict. Don't watch him. He's not legit at all. His channel isn't legit. And that's all I got to say. Easy.